Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. So some updates, some topics I want to talk about with the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get straight into it.
You better do it. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? So a few more days, and that's it. I mean, the Eagles are playing Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be probably one of the biggest games of the year, especially where these two teams are at right now with the Cowboys and being undefeated with Cooper Rush, and the Eagles are just undefeated right now. And every team is going to give their best, so I expect a really good fight on Sunday night. And but the things that are leading up to this game, I have to question a few things because of the injuries, and I think this is really important here. Now you have Jordan Mailata, you have Avonte Maddox that are going to be hopefully coming back this week. Jordan Mailata is going to be a different one. I'm not really sure about it. The rumors were 3 to 5 weeks. I am good with Jack Driscoll being in there at left tackle. I have no problem with it this week. Now, the Cowboys, their defense, depending on, I know DeMarcus Lawrence is probably going to be on Lane Johnson's side, most likely, so I don't think I'm worried about it too much. But if Jordan Mailata definitely doesn't play this Sunday, it might be it's going to be a big loss for this team. For such an important game with the Cowboys being 4-1, the Eagles being 5-0 right now, the Eagles have a bye week after this game on Sunday, so hopefully come out with a win and become 6-0 and just relax and get everybody back for the rest of the season. I think this is a very needed bye for this team. So the rumors were 3 to 5 weeks from Mailata with the shoulder injury, so I don't know. It's really just based off of how much he can extend his arms, and he can extend them pretty good. There has been some video that came out that he could extend his arms, but it's really pressure that players are going to put on him to see if his shoulder can really stand up still. So like I said, Jack Driscoll, I think I think is going to be important for this offense this week. Stay healthy in that game. If I'm looking at it right now, it looks like he might not play, but who knows? Things could pan out where the Eagles might say, you know what? If he feels 90%, let him play. And if he can't play anymore, you just put Jack Driscoll in the game if his shoulder really can't hold up or it's way too much. Obviously, he's going to be practicing this week. Obviously, we're going to find out and see if his shoulder is going to hold up. So it's a loss for this game. I mean, it's a loss for this offense for, Mailata not being back in. So the Eagles might say, you know what, Jack Driscoll's doing a good job, so let him stay in at left tackle and let Mailata, take off the next 2 weeks, and we'll see where he's at. And probably after the bye, he'll be back. So I'm not really worried about it too much. Now, Avonte Maddox is different because, I feel like the defense, we've had to kind of change the way we do things. Because, having your nickel corner is a big difference in a game, when he's covering slot receivers or tight ends or whatnot. You never know what's going to come his way because receivers, when Josiah Scott has been in games, they've kind of been moving those number one receivers inside. Now, I don't know if Avonte Maddox comes back or if he's not in this game this Sunday. You could see CD going into the inside, taking advantage middle of the field where the Eagles will probably play a little bit of prevent. And because of having no Avonte Maddox, not saying they don't do prevent without him, with him in the game, but without him, your game plan probably changes a little bit. Now, Josiah Scott has had his ups, has had his downs the past couple weeks, but I thought serviceable, sure. Role playing / nickel / safety, I'm totally fine with him. But I think Avonte Maddox should be back this week. That's what I'm hoping for. I think he had the twisted ankle, before the Jags game, and then they kind of let him rest that game, let him rest for the Arizona game. So at this point, I expect Avonte Maddox to be back, by this week. So your whole entire secondary is healthy when he comes back, and it's going to be he's been well missed. Okay, definitely one of the top nickels in the league. I say a top 5 nickel. He's played absolutely lights out this season so far. So really excited for Avonte Maddox to come back because I don't want the Cowboys working their way on the inside of our defense. And if Gannon starts to get too cautious, that could be our downfall. So that's what I'm hoping that does not happen. Now, some good news, some other good news, hopefully with those two players coming back, with some other good news. Yeah, it was actually true that the Eagles are going after Brian Burns. It is true. The news is out there, guys. Not only the Eagles, but the Cardinals and the Titans have a lot of interest in the pass rusher. The 16th overall pick that had 29 and a half sacks, 6 or 7 forced fumbles, and this is in 53 games. He's played absolutely amazing. And now the Panthers, after firing Matt Rule, the head coach, are kind of cleaning house right now. But Brian Burns is 24 years old, so you would expect them not to rebuild and get rid of a 24-year-old player as, for him, but they need draft picks very badly. We'll see how much it's going to take to get him to Philadelphia. Obviously knows Hassan Reddick probably pretty well, so that could probably help in our favor for this trade to happen. And how much are you going to have to give up? That's going to be the next thing, because I don't think it's going to cost a day 3 pick. If Howie Roseman gets away with maybe a pick next year and a mid-round pick this year or something, then hell, I'm down with it to get another pass rusher. With Derek Barnett being out, Patrick Johnson took his spot. Now he's hurt, so you got to kind of replace that. Not only because Brian Burns be good for you this year, and he'll be really cheap if you trade for him, because his salary is $4.3 million, probably gonna be a little bit cheaper than that for the year. But you can always extend him, and could be a future player for this team going forward. If you don't want to go after Will Anderson in the draft, if the Eagles aren't going to be high enough to get the best defensive end, which I don't think so now, because the Saints are starting to win again, and I don't know how many more weeks this is. I don't want to rely on the Saints pick to be able to get a defensive end in the building. Graham is probably going to retire or stay here for another year on a really, really cheap deal. If he comes back, he has got to stay on the veteran minimum, no joke. So it is true. Now, the Panthers said they are not planning to trade Brian Burns at all, but we always hear that, okay? We always hear that. So Howie Roseman is monitoring this situation, as probably already made the phone call. I have no doubt about it. So whether this happens next week, the week after, if the Eagles think they're going to contend and they have a shot, they're going to bring him in. And I think they still bring him in regardless, just because this team has 2 first-rounders and a second-round pick next year, and depending on how much it takes to get him in the building, I think it's going to be a fantastic signing. You know what I mean? You're going to get Fletcher Cox's money off the books, most of it off the books after this year. You know what I mean? So, you want to work on the trenches. You want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Just remember, guys, last year, it was part of our free agency. Last year was when we signed Jordan Mailata, Avonte Maddox, Josh Sweat. When we signed all those guys, there was a lot of fans that were like, oh, why aren't we signing all these guys on free agency? What's going on this past year in free agency? Well, last year was part of our free agency. You're locking up those main players and kind of building around that, which the Eagles defense is night and day from last year, and obviously the personnel are night and day from last year, and that linebacker core is definitely very exciting for the future. And to add more, you have a strip sack artist in Hassan Reddick. After this year, he's got 2 more years left on his contract, and getting Brian Burns, that man at 6'6", what is he, 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds, is a pressure artist. He is second in the league in pressures this year, right behind Nick Bosa. So if you want to get a pressure artist with him and having the strip sack artist and Hassan Reddick on each side, it is going to be very exciting to see this defensive line. I think the defensive line is getting better every single week with pressure, and they've had their issues here and there. It really depends on Jonathan Gannon. Sometimes these guys get tired out, and there's no blitzing, and there's a lot more issues sometimes. But I'm not hating on Jonathan Gannon. I'm not saying I don't trust Jonathan Gannon, but I'm right in the middle every single week, and I'm supporting him and what he could do with this defense. So hopefully it does get better. But getting Brian Burns would be a big win for this team, and just really depends on what they have to give up. So there's other teams that are going to push real hard for him. And ultimately, I don't know how much respect they have for Brian Burns for him to make his own decision. He probably wants to be put in obviously the best situation possible. But Hassan Reddick is probably going to have a lot to say because they have played together, because he came from the Panthers before before, we ended up, they didn't end up paying him and went to free agency, and that was our first free agent signing of this past season, the offseason in 2022. So you guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Brian Burns. And this is real, guys. This is definitely real. They are interested. Eagles have made phone calls. Howie Roseman is keeping his eye on this, and I don't doubt it for a second. And obviously the injuries with Mailata and Avonte Maddox. Hopefully Jason Kelce is okay too, because he got it, Dickerson and Kelce, because they both got out of that game versus Arizona. They came back, thank God. Because I'm like, don't even tell me we're going to be losing lineman after lineman after lineman. It's just not going to look good. Now, I'll see what Jordan Mailata coming back is really important now, because even Micah Parsons too, he's going to be lining up, find that weakness. Probably going to need max protection. Miles Sanders is going to be protecting as well. Probably going to be a lot of blocking with him to protect Jalen Hurts as much as possible in this game. But this offensive line is still stout, still very good, and hopefully come out with that win for 6-0 after this week. And Sunday night is going to be a doubleheader. It's going to be great. I think it's Bills and Chiefs, and then Eagles and Cowboys. Two really good matchups for the night, which I'm really excited for. So other than that, let me know on the injuries. What do you guys think? You think Avonte Maddox is coming back? Jordan Mailata, you think they sit him out for one more week and then go through the bye week and then he comes back? Or do you think, maybe we lose Mailata for one game and, and really get the secondary back to what it was? Bringing Avonte back is going to be a big W for us defensively this week. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys on the next one. Shake Squad up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.